hello everybody. Welcome to Chicago. For those that aren't from here, happy to have you guys. I'm super excited about this panel with two Chicago-based companies. I'm also from Chicago. I'm Molly, I'm SBJ's sports media reporter. So happy to be here. So as we kick it off, can you guys tell us a little bit about your Chicago companies and what your roles are?
Please.
I'm Ken Roman. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Wind Creek Hospitality. I'm also a native Chicagoan. We opened a casino at 294 in Halstead here, November 11th of this year. Got our hotel opened a couple weeks after that. So we're very excited to be one of the newest entertainment and hospitality facilities in the city.
Yes. Jason Coyle, President of the Chicago Sports Network, CHSN. And Chicago is really everything to us. We're the operation, the official home of the Chicago Bulls and the White Sox and the Blackhawks, but that is just the start, as I think we'll get into. But Chicago for us is our foundation, and it runs through everything that we do. You see it in our hallways, you see it in our logo, you see it in our graphics, and certainly our programming lineup, and that's how I came to meet Ken, and that's why we're here today.
So two relatively new companies in the Chicago space, and we're here to talk about a pretty unique partnership that you guys have joined together with. As we get in, that partnership was announced, what, February?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you break that down for us? What does this entail?
Go ahead.
Oh, please, sure. Well, first we met at a Bulls brand partner summit.
Yes.
Which I think, is it okay if I step back a little and explain kind of how our network has
You don't need to ask for my permission, go ahead.
Okay. This isn't a straight media deal by any means. This is a multi-tiered marketing and business partnership with KPIs and outcomes. Ken is the business owner. He owns the outcomes in addition to really placing the media and directing all of that. And that's where we start. Given the Bulls connection, our foundation is different. We're owned by the teams. And we have alignment of the media company, CHSN, the rights holders, the teams, and the venues, the United Center and the rate, which gives us an opportunity to create marketing executions in a turnkey basis that reach all of those fans on air at the venue and then throughout the communities in partnership with Ken. And so when we were looking to build the business, you might suspect, we weren't in a hurry to build a linear-only regional sports network. You know, we could read the papers as well. We know how that ends if that's all you're up to. So we of course start with a great linear execution, a beautiful 24-hour network, the games produced at a very high quality. Still a great way to reach a scaled live audience. We have more advertisers than we ever did at our predecessor networks. But we really knew that from a brand standpoint, and when we're talking about C-level executives trying to move their business, a linear network is a pretty antiquated and ineffective tool when you're trying to track outcomes. And for marketers, we needed to help them transition from advertisers into real business partners. And so in addition to the media reach, we brought an in-house experiential business to CHSN, recruited Dan Jones from William Morris Endeavor, where he ran their whole business. We have an in-house original content and branded content studio, in-house digital creative team with podcast studios and in-house creators. We have print executions. Like, we really provide all the tools for advertisers to reach, engage, and then really matter to Chicago sports fans. And then we can really create and direct outcomes as you know, in partnership with our key clients.
All right, Ken, before we get into you, there is an audience question that is very important. What kind of Jordans are you rocking?
You can thank Meg Jordan for these, actually, from the Bulls. This was their partner present this year, so these are the legacy shoes they sent to the Bulls partners this year.
I also had that question, so thank you guys. All right, Ken, your turn.
Yeah, it's funny. So again, I'm a Chicago native. Our chief operating officer is a Chicago native, our chief financial officer is a Chicago native. So all of us were really excited to have an opportunity to open a facility here in Chicago. And even before we had broken ground, I believe we had inked our deal as an official partner with the Bulls. We're not Hard Rock, we're not Bally's, we're not even Rivers. We were an unknown brand in the Chicago market, and so Chicago natives knew the importance of getting tied up with a legacy organization like the Bulls to build credibility and an instant fan base for us as well. And so it's been a great partnership we have with them. And again, at the Bulls Partner Summit this year, Brand Summit, I was in the audience when Jason and Ram were talking, and I literally was standing at the edge of the stage waiting for them to get off to figure out, because when they start talking about what they could bring to the table for us, not just in linear media, but how we could activate their fan base and the various sports networks fan base to generate customers for us, it was kind of a no-brainer. And so as we work through all that, it's having the Daily Lead broadcast live from Wind Creek once a month, having the sports betting podcast broadcast live from our sports book, having watch parties with Dennis Savard or Eric Chelios or whoever we happen to have in the building. It's increased our reach, but it's automatically bringing CHSN's fan base into our new business and letting them experience the Wind Creek Casino and the hotel and all that other good stuff. So it's been fantastic, and I think that was what was really attractive, is how can we get more people in, not just through advertising, but actually having activations on site.
So you touched on this a little bit as just in that answer right there, but this is a multifaceted partnership that encompasses the lead. It encompasses podcasting, newsletters. Can you explain to those who might not be as familiar what the facets of this partnership are?
Sure.
Easy question.
That could take the next 20 minutes.
Hey, no, we only have 20. I'm going to hold you to like 5 here.
Yeah. First, unlike other regional media operations, all day, every day, we have Chicago sports content. So we have a very carefully cultivated programming schedule that really goes beyond the games. This is for all Chicago sports fans, whether you're specifically a fan of our teams or the Cubs or the Bears or high school sports, college sports, anything that's important to the Chicago sports fan, we're going to inform and entertain you. Our show of record, the show of record for Chicago sports, is the Chicago Lead. And that's David Haw, a noted journalist, a really terrific reporter and journalist, Brooke Fletcher, Cam Smith, and that is our staple Monday through Friday. So you get 2 minutes of sports news on the broadcast stations. You get 30 minutes or an hour, depending on our game schedule, every single day. And we have all the team talent on. We'll have Stacey King or Adam Amin before the Bulls, Chuck Garfien, Ozzie Guillen for the White Sox. We break news. We've had GMs on. It's just a really, really great platform to inform and entertain. Like Ken mentioned, we take the show to Wind Creek on occasion, but we also take the brand into the United Center, engage with those fans, and to the raid as well. An adjunct to that is we have a daily sports page, essentially, that we publish for free, that we think is as good of a sports read as the old days of a full Chicago Tribune, and that's powered by Wind Creek. We have original creators creating native content for social platforms. We have experiences both in our studio, at the casino, and perhaps to come out in the community. And like he said, we bring legends like Dennis Savard to the watch party. We'll be doing trivia, handing out prizes. Please come and see it. Their property is fantastic, and it's easy for us to make them look good, because they've really invested into a great property.
The other thing, I was intrigued by the last speaker, and we too have a small curated group of agencies that come up with a lot of stuff. But one thing that's been nice about the partnership with CHSN is they're constantly bringing ideas. I've never had a media partner come tell me we could do X, Y, or Z. It's how many more GRPs can we buy, or how can we increase the flighting, or whatever it might be. And so, Dan's down in our building a couple of weeks ago with 6 new things we can do to activate people at our building or activate fan bases elsewhere. And whether that's doing late night functions with Ozzy or whether that's doing, can I talk about the one? So we sat at Bettinardi.
Don't look at them, look at me.
No, well, I want to make sure we're all good on this. So we've been working on a pregame thing for the Sox that's co-branded with Wind Creek and CHSN and the Sox, and I'm not going to get into details, but it's a putting competition, and when we're talking, we need somebody, so we're working with Bettinardi, who's a local famous, I roll Bettinardi. How can we work with other local Chicago pieces to really bring something together that's super cool and activate in different than just buying more 30-second spots? And I think that's really what the hallmark of the facets of the deal is, really cool and innovative stuff, not just more ad buys.
Yeah, and I'll say we have weekly meetings, daily interaction, and our entire senior staff knows who Ken is. And if he asks for something, it's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. This is a senior level partnership, and that is part of what we do is keep in alignment with you. We're a new business. You're a new business. We hit unexpected opportunities or problems along the way that we try to solve, and that's why we do have these really nestled agencies in part of our daily operation, and that's what we do with our key clients.
Good one from the audience is digging a little bit more into the details of the partnership. What do activations inside the sports venues look like, and what is the hope? Is it bonus bets, merchandise, and follow-up, what's the distance between the United Center and the casino?
I think there's two things. We're looking from an activation perspective. We're looking at, again, as new. We look at how many new players are coming in. I mean, we probably not unlike the insurance or the financial services company. We measure everything in a casino. 70% of our players play rated, so we understand everything they're doing, what they're betting, what we're giving them for comps, the whole 9 yards. So we have a lot of data. So really, what we're looking at is when we do these activations, how many new players are we signing up, and then over time, what sort of loyalty we're able to drive for them. We also use a handful of sophisticated tools to look at visitations. Are we increasing in visitation? Our final metric is share of wallet. Casino players have a tendency to cheat, so not on the games. But you'll do out of 10 trips, how many will you do with my casino versus how many we do to Rivers, how many we do to Hard Rock. And so we're trying to make sure that we get the greatest possible share of your wallet, and visitation is kind of a placeholder for that. So that's kind of what we're looking to get out of it. For distance,
It's just over 20 miles.
20 miles, give or take.
Quick.
We've got some nice partnerships we've done with the Bulls, not to get into a different partnership, but we're able to run shuttles back and forth. We also have a really great corporate partnership with Uber. So for our players in the loyalty program, we'll comp Uber trips back and forth from anywhere if you're starting or ending at the casino. So we've made the transportation side pretty easy, and we've got a massive garage and a hotel, so you don't even got to go home that night. You can spend the night.
So I can get down there pretty easily from downtown here?
Absolutely.
I might have to make some time.
I think we can make that happen.
So we are in Chicago, as we've made very clear, which has a very loyal sports fan base, even though there has not been a championship since 2021, Chicago Sky. But how are you guys embracing the community and building relationships here?
We are a citizen of Chicago. We really are. You see us sponsoring street festivals. We'll be out there with Little League teams. We're going to be in the middle of the 16-inch softball summer, and that's really cool. Firefighters, union guys. It's an amazing scene. We care about everything that Chicago sports fans in the city of Chicago care about. And again, you'll see it in every single thing that we do. And if it matters to Chicago and our local business communities, we're going to be there. Our first commercial that we ran ever on the Chicago Sports Network, what was a collection. Well, the single commercial was a South Side proprietor, entrepreneur who probably didn't have the wherewithal to invest in original creative, let alone to place the media. And part of what we did is go out and create a series of those, especially from the west side and the south side where our venues are. We have this in-house creative shop, Original Entertainment. It just brought some beautiful commercials tagged with "Buy Chicago," B-U-Y Chicago. So everything that we do is to see, to serve, and to give back to our hometown and our local community, business operations.
Yeah, I would. So again, Wind Creek as a corporation is all about building communities. We have stated in numerous things. We don't just build casinos; we build communities. It is a core principle where we are, and we're a tribally owned entity. So it came from an impoverished group that's been able to give back, and they've given back greatly. This gets very personal. So when I switched from the agency side to this job about 6 years ago, and when I was interviewing with the company, like every prospective employee, right? You set up a Google alert so you can find out about the group you're about to go to work for. And while I was at my son's Air Force graduation, and an alert hit, and there had been a series of tornadoes that had gone through central Alabama at that point, and it very understated the company, the tribe, PCI, Wind Creek, and Glovershire, had picked up the tab for the burial cost of over 200 families, just like that. No, I mean, it's just, they're involved in the community, and it's whether it's the people that are working there, whether it's the people that are patronizing it, we're very, very involved. And before we had ever broken ground here, we had committed to millions of dollars of reinvestment back into the South Side communities. East Hazel Crest, Homewood, some of those other communities on the South Side that are less affluent, that really could use some economic development, whether it's building the project or giving back to Prairie State, giving back to the healthcare systems, giving back to the local communities is a big piece of it. And writing checks is easy. You can take proceeds, revenues, whatever, and distribute it. We also have a very, very active involvement from our team member base, whether we're working at, meal giveaways, or whether we're working at back to school things, or whether we're working in homeless shelters, whatever it is. We have actively encouraged our team members and support our team members that want to be involved. And so we've taken that methodology from everywhere else, and we've been deeply involved in the South Chicago side of South Chicago. And I think you'll continue, even to the point of working with local artists. Most of the art you'll see in the casino and the hotel is done by local South Side artists. Everything we can to stay connected is kind of how we like to do things.
That's fantastic. We've got a few questions around kind of distribution agreements and exposure. So I'm careful, don't worry.
I didn't expect that.
No, really? You guys haven't been in the news recently? So I guess to paraphrase, what is kind of the priorities here? Is it for the future of CHSN and Wind Creek? Is it distribution agreements, exposure, more deals, or growing the DTC user app base?
For us, it is continuing to use it to activate new customers. And I don't care if that happens through a distribution deal. I don't care if that happens through sponsoring a huge experiential thing outside United Center. It's what's the next concept that's going to get more people to come in and experience our brand. And when we're doing that in partnership, we get that's more reach than we can get from anything else. So we signed this deal knowingly what the distribution looked like. That wasn't the reason we did it. We did it because of everything else we could get out of it, where we could partner together and really create super cool experiences.
Yeah, and for us, it's some of all of that. Every day, we're looking to reach more and more Chicago sports fans, and then engage them in as many ways as possible, whether it's on the screen, whether it's across screens, whether it's physically in person in our venues, or out in the communities, or at our partners' venues. And that's really what we're looking to do, is we are reinventing what a regional sports entertainment operation is. We're a media-based company. We're not really just a media company. Yes, a part of the deal was a scaled media investment across all three teams. We're activating in the games. But without getting it, the other half of the deal really it activates on different screens and in physical spaces, and with outcomes that we're working on together. So we're looking to do more of that. More programming, more engagement, more opportunities to identify specific fans, to reward them with prizes and experiences, and really just really raise the availability and raise the experience for our fans, and then for business partners, really show them that we are, yes, a great place to place your advertising, but a very special place, and we think the only one, where you can, where we care about your business objectives, and we will work with you until you achieve them.
What's next moving forward? What can we expect in the next year, 2
We've
years,
got some
5 years?
things to surprise you with next week.
There
So
You wanna
you're
tell
gonna
us
get
now?
you're gonna get
Come on.
you're gonna get a
Tease
first
us?
look at a couple of new things.
we're going through planning for next year, actually next week. So I know that they're cooking all kinds of stuff. We're excited.
We'll expect a call from me, so.
I can do that.
Oh, a fun one. How can on-air talent position themselves to be savvy and adjust to the ever-changing climate around regional sports networks?
How can they adjust?
Yeah. And all questions are fun, by the way. I didn't mean that derogatory at all.
Yeah, for us, well, first, our talent. We have a really high bar for talent, and I'm excited about all the folks that we put on air. One of the things is you have to be versatile across screens. You had better be willing to work with brands, because this is what we do. And I think brands and our sales team always say that throughout the company, our production team, our social digital team, our experiential team, our original content team, they've never seen a more brand-friendly operation. That's how we've gone to market, and that's really how we build ourselves.
The one thing I would say, if you asked me to tell you the thing that was most impressive about the partnership to date, and there have been a lot of things. So we did a watch party for the Bulls. I don't even remember what night it was. And we knew we had 3 watch parties on the books with CHSN to do a couple of Hawks games and a Bulls and a Sox game. And I mean, you guys must have, there were like 40 people from CHSN there. All the guys showed up, all their wives or girlfriends showed up. I mean, the number of people that showed up just to see what the Bulls team was doing to execute a watch party, because they're like, we got to make it better than that. And I mean, so it's, and that's not meant derogatory either, right? It is understanding what is the experience like in our casino, what are the guests that are sitting there in the sports book seeing, and how do we make that better when we come do the next one? And every time we've had one of these, we've learned from it. And it really has been a partnership where their production team is down there and figuring out when we're doing the live broadcast, how do we improve on that? It has really been a very collaborative partnership. And it, again, is bringing ideas, and then it's getting things better every single time we execute something.
Yeah, just to finish the talent thought around the brand, you have to really understand what you're talking about, and you have to be engaging, and you have to know college, Chicago sports. I was listening to too much Allstate. We do not use prompter. We will not put anyone on air who says, where's my teleprompter, where's my script? We do not do that. You have to know what you're talking about. Yeah, if you're a host, you have to get us in and out of break. You have to know your subject matter. By and large, you're doing your own research. We expect you not just to do a linear hit. There is no such thing. We are not a linear business. We're a media-based business. But we're going to expect you to do native TikTok videos on brand, in brand partnerships sometimes. We're going to expect you to do events. We had Annie Agar. We've had talent there with the watch parties, doing trivia, engaging with people. I think it's a combination of that, and you have to be a good person. We do not have people running around our offices who have their own special, yes, we have a green room and we treat talent great, but they have to treat everyone else great as well. So I would end there.
I started following Annie Agar on TikTok maybe in like 2021, back when she was doing her like, here's what happened this week in the Big Ten and the NFL. Excellent content, and loving seeing her broadcast career grow. So follow her on TikTok, she's great, and follow Chicago Sports Network. Couple quick ones to get you out of here. What storyline should we be following in sports media and sports business that we might not be? Or what are you paying the most attention to?
Go ahead. Do you have any answers? I think all of a sudden the regional business is very, very exciting. For years, it was not particularly thrilling to me. I mean, a couple of major corporate groups operated synergistically across markets. Everyone had the same set of graphics, everyone had the same sets, everyone had the same essentially dayside programming lineup. The executive producers didn't even watch their own air. Everything was distributed in the same way. The business model was get the games up, get paid by the cable subscribers, and don't spend another nickel. Things have changed, and it wasn't, well, yes, it was precipitated by the bankruptcies of the Diamond Sports Group, but what you're seeing now is not just us, but different teams starting their own media businesses with slightly different models, slightly different competitive advantages, and you're seeing little laboratories of media, which I find fascinating, and they're going to have to innovate. We're really excited about what we're doing, and I think it's just the start. We're at a jog, but I think we're going to be watching the other regionals and see what they could do, and I think that's going to be an exciting thing to watch for the entire media landscape.
For us, it's a little different animal. I think we work a lot across a lot of sports properties, and whether it's collegiate teams, whether it's professional teams, whether it's F1, whether it's with CHSN and other similars. What we continue to be focused on is about the experience. What can we bring to our guests, or what can we work together to bring to our guests and our patrons that is unique, that gives them an experience they couldn't get somewhere else? How can we do something that's way different and that gives them something they'll talk about, right? I don't need more seats. I don't need more 30 seconds. I need something that our guests will talk about, that they'll share on TikTok, that they'll put on Instagram, things where they will generate the chatter that we're looking for, where we get the mentions, or we get that spread of that's something they can't get at one of our competitors, or something they can't get just doing it on their own, where they've had this great experience and it's been provided by our brand and the brands that we're partnering with to bring that to them. And those are the brands. I just had this with an NC2A D1 school. I don't need any more suites. I need you to tell me what we can work on together where I can have something truly unique. And the sports properties or the broadcast properties or the CHNs of the world that are thinking in that way are the ones that are going to get at least me and my ilk's attention.
Yeah, we think the word experience, that in our first meeting, we talked about that so much. And it could be a virtual experience across screens where we bring fans out of historically just this anonymous, isolated one-way viewing experience, but into an interactive chat, trivia, send us your picture for a virtual Jumbotron. Or again, it's in person, and we understand that, you know, as our viewers sort of age up, the way to really reach that next level down or two is to create experiences, and that's where that's where the next generation of really customers, clients, patrons, and audience for us is.
Last one. Which franchise brings the next championship to Chicago?
It's a three-way tie. I am really excited about all of our three teams' futures. I don't know. I'll tell you what I saw. I don't think it'll be this year for the White Sox, but there are 7 rookies on the club. I think I'll call the three-way tie and leave it there.
Fair. Ken? You cannot take his answer.
No, look, I'm a native Chicagoan. I've got my fan allegiances, but it's like, so in Alabama, we're based in headquarters in Alabama, and so we sponsor both Alabama and Auburn, and that's like asking me to pick who's going to win the Iron Bowl. But, you know, the Cubs are off to an awfully hot start this year.
Let's go Cubbies. I say on stage, oops. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you guys for being here. I'd like to bring up my colleague, Terry Lefton.